thank you so much for being here. We just wanted to give you a heads up because we are going to start promptly at 6 o'clock. And so if you need to use the restroom, it is down these stairs and just right around the corner there. And also, because majority of our viewers will probably be online, and so we have encouraged our candidates to address you here, but also to remember to look to the camera so that our viewers feel like they're here with us. And so don't feel like they are ignoring you if they are just looking there. So don't take it personal, it's not. All right, but yeah, we'll begin in about 2 minutes. And so if you need to stretch your legs or whatever, we're gonna keep this to an hour. So, yeah.
And we want to thank you all for coming as well. Thanks for being here today as people that are concerned about our community and voters, and this is part of our civic duties to meet our candidates and to know the issues. So again, we want to thank you all for being here. So,
All right.
thank you for putting this on. All right, it is 6 o'clock. We want to welcome you all here. Thank you for coming, members of the community, also online. We know that you are tuning in as you are concerned about the issues as we're looking, as we're interviewing candidates from District 32, running for House District 32 and also for Senate District 14. So thank you for tuning in. You are going to have an opportunity to meet the candidates and also to hear where they stand on certain issues.
Yes, we are very excited about this. We've never done this before, and so this is really neat that we get to do this for our community. Yes. We also live in this community, so this is something that is very important to us. And so we do want to recognize some people. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Karis.
And I'm Marion. Hello.
Hello. And we wanted to recognize some people that are just key people in our community that we're so thankful for. So first, we want to recognize Kathy Higa, who is with the Moanalua Valley Community Association, as well as Guy Hashimoto, who is the president of the Lions Club. And so thank you so much for being here.
We also want to recognize Sherry Olanda. She is head of Moanalua Neighborhood Security Watch. And so thank you. I believe that she is online. So welcome. Thank you for being here, Sherry.
As well as Lee Kunimitsu, who is over the Moanalua Valley Neighborhood Security Watch. So thank you, Lee. I know he's tuning in online as well.
At this time, we want to introduce Pastor Daniel Chinen, who is pastor here at Moanalua Gardens Missionary Church. He's going to kind of explain the vision on why we're doing this. And so, yeah, we want to introduce him.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you to everybody for being here online and in person. The vision behind this is really to spotlight our candidates that are running for District 14 and 32, because when do they ever get a chance to actually share without any kind of pressure, without any kind of agenda, to share really what's their vision. And that's what you're going to get tonight. You're going to be able to hear from each one of them what's their vision and their dream and their priorities and all that they want to see happen in this community. And so I'm really excited about that. But before we hear from them, I just want to share a code of conduct with all of us, you online as well as in person. And the code of conduct for us that we operate at MGMC is aloha. Say aloha. Aloha. Right? And aloha is more than a greeting. It's more than goodbye. It's more than to show you. It's a way of life, right? And aloha for us is the law of the land, actually, if you remember that, right? And it's akahai. It starts with akahai. Kindness expressed with tenderness. And what does that mean? It means I'm going to control myself no matter what you do, right? And so that's what we want to have. It's not just for the candidates, not just for in person, it's for online as well. It's for all of us, right, as we have akahai. The second one is lokahi. Say lokahi. Lokahi. Right? We want to have lokahi where we can show unity expressed with harmony. And so in addition to akahai, we're going to have lokahi, where we're going to choose connection over distance, right? And that's why these candidates are up here. They're going to be able to share how they're connecting with the community. What's their vision to connect with the community? It's going to be awesome. And then there's olu olu. Say olu olu. Olu. Right? And it's agreeable expressed with pleasantness. And we want to be agreeable and pleasant no matter what happens. And so we're going to listen respectfully to understand one another's viewpoints. And I think that's going to be one of the great things tonight, is you're going to be able to hear different viewpoints and appreciate the different viewpoints as well. So we're going to be able to practice olu olu, right? And after olu olu is ha'a ha'a. Say ha'a ha'a. I know, a little bit tougher, right? But ha'a ha'a is humility expressed with modesty. And we're going to bring out the treasures in one another. And that's what you're going to get to hear from the candidates, is the treasures that they possess and their desire and love for the community. It's going to be amazing. The last one is ahu nui. Say ahu nui. Say ahu nui online. I didn't hear you, but hopefully you said it, right? Ahu nui. And that is patience expressed with perseverance. And you're going to hear the priorities. Ahu nui is about managing my plans and priorities with the people and time that I have. And that's what you're going to get to hear tonight as well from our candidates. What are the priorities? What are the plans that they believe for this community? And so that's our code of conduct on aloha. So say aloha, aloha. Right? And that's what we're going to practice, not just saying aloha to say hello, not just saying aloha to say goodbye, but a way of life. Okay? All right, I'm going to hand it back to Carson Marion.
All right, thank you. All right.
So we just want to highlight each candidate. They submitted a biography, and we're just going to read those. So the first one, we want to introduce Micah Ayu. He is running for House of Representatives District 32. Micah graduated from Kamehameha Schools and attended LaSalle University in Boston with a degree in accounting. Micah worked in Washington, D.C. for Senator Mazie Hirono when she was in the House of Representatives. Micah returned home to attend the University of Hawaii School of Law and has been a practicing attorney for the last 6 years. He is currently the in-house counsel at Non-Incorporated, managing their litigation, government procurement, and contracts. Everyone welcome Micah.
Garner Shimizu is running for House of Representatives, District 32. Garner is a husband, father, grandfather, friend, graduate of Moanalua High School, and your neighbor who's ready to fight for change. He has over 30 plus years of business and management experience. For more information, you can visit his website at www.voteshimizu.com and follow his Instagram at voteshimizu. Please welcome Garner Shimizu.
And if we could also welcome Cheryl Zonka, and she's running for Senate District 14. Born and raised in Hawaii, currently she is the operations manager for Families Ministry Center, a professional counseling practice. And prior to that, she was general manager for Trinity Broadcasting Network's local TV station for 19 years. She is and has been on many community boards, committees, and has facilitated many events in and out of Hawaii, including Hawaii Family Forum, Hawaii Christian Coalition, Aloha Pregnancy Center, the Center Arena in Florida, the Church of Rehoboth in Fresno, California, Kingdom Harvest Alliance in Texas, Family Day Outreach International. If you can welcome Cheryl at this time.
All right, so the way that we're gonna do it is each candidate will have 3 minutes to answer a question, and they will have a timer, so they're gonna know when their 3 minutes is coming to an end. But we do wanna hear from them, and so we will just start, yeah?
Yeah, we'll begin with first question will be Garner, second question will begin with Cheryl. So we're trying to have each person begin first. So the first question we want to ask to all of you is the simple question: why are you running for office, and what qualities do you possess that make you fit for this job? And so we'll begin with Garner Shimizu.
Hello, friends. Aloha kehua. As I consider some of the important issues that we face, cost of living causing hardships across the state, even forcing some of our friends and children to leave Hawaii because they can't afford to live here. Government inaction on our emergency at Red Hill fuel tanks, endangering our water supply. One-party domination in our legislature, wanting to give voters a choice. And the Aloha Stadium redevelopment, wanting to prevent another rail fiasco. As I considered many of these important concerns, at the core of my decision to run is my spiritual belief that I have been called and given an invitation by God to partner with Him and be that person, to be involved and make a difference for a better Hawaii, for my grandchildren and my fellow man. I want to thank my wife Joy as we prayed together and made this decision in unity to run together. I would not and could not have done it without you. I would not have done this alone. Thank you, Joy. I'm 63 years old, and life has been a great teacher for me. I'm a product of Moanalua, elementary, intermediate, high school. I graduated from the University of Hawaii in mechanical engineering, where they train us to problem solve. I've worked as a design consultant, working with architects, and managed a family business in the construction industry with up to 50 employees. I've been president of the Moanalua Valley Community Association and professionally elected by my peers to be president of the Sheet Metal Contractors Association, as well as the Board of Trustees, overseeing and managing trust funds. But I would have to say probably my proudest accomplishment is being married for 35 years and raising 3 wonderful children while juggling a career and making ends meet. It took a lot of discipline, sacrifice, and hard work, learning to grow in humility and thinking of others more than myself. I feel I am prepared, ready, and willing for this time to give back and serve my community. It would be an honor and privilege to be your state representative. Mahalo kia koa.
Okay, I just want to say thank you to MGMC and everybody here and online for this opportunity. So I'm running for office because of our government has been a one-party system for far too long, and the past 2 years have especially proven how dangerous this is with no checks and balances. In particular, our inalienable rights guaranteed to us in our Constitution were ignored and denied. This has resulted in a dramatic rise in suicides. Cost of living is up. I don't have to tell you guys, your electric bills, your groceries, your gas, you name it, it's up. Working in the mental health field, as you heard, I see firsthand the devastating effects of poor government decisions on our people. So when I was asked to step up and give the people a choice, with much prayer, I accepted the challenge. I am one of you. I'm a parent, a homeowner, an employee. I own a few businesses, and I'm a taxpayer. My experience is extensive in successful executive management. I'm skilled at organizing, building, and restructuring businesses and ministries, having worked for the city, for a Fortune 500 company, owning my own businesses, also as a general manager for the worldwide network, the local station, and my current position, of course, in the mental health field. I have worked with people from diverse backgrounds, diverse income levels, and with locally as well as internationally. I'm a networker, problem solver, motivator. I have a strong work ethic instilled in me by my parents. I'm resourceful, trustworthy, honest, dependable, and a good listener. If elected, I will work hard to restore life, liberty, and aloha. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Micah Ayu. I want to thank everyone for coming and watching online. I especially want to thank Pastor Chinen for setting this up and allowing us to all speak. It's a really great opportunity. I grew up in Moanalua, right up the road on Ala'amo'amo Street. My grandparents lived on Onipa'a Street, and I remember riding my bike throughout the community. I participated in PAL sports, volleyball, basketball, soccer, baseball, you name it. My mom put me in those sports. So when I heard about Aaron Johansson deciding not to run anymore, and I have huge respect for him. He did an excellent job for our community. He really represented us, and I really felt like he connected with us. And he would go door to door, and he would even come to my door, you know. So I really appreciated that. So when I found out he wasn't going to run anymore, I thought, you know, it's finally my time to step up and be a part and contribute and give back to the community and really fight for this community that really raised me. So I hope to use some of my lawyer skills that I've developed and worked on for the last 6 years to be a strong voice for the community. And on the side, I also coach volleyball part-time, and I hope to use some of those leadership skills, coaching kids and molding kids to really bring good leadership and be a positive voice for the community and for Moanalua. Thank you.
All right. Our next question for our candidates is, what is your vision for the community while in office? So we will begin with Micah.
So I think we have a pretty good community. We have some of the best schools on the island. It's relatively safe. We have some really great organizations like the church that we're here today, but we can always be better. We can always be more safe. We can always, improve the economic outlook for families and give families a better opportunity. So where I see our community is even growing even further, closer together, as well as providing more opportunities for families, providing more affordable housing options for families. And I think that's key going into the future. I want to grow up and have my kids also live in the same experiences that I did. So I want them to be able to be safe riding their bike along the road and have opportunities that I had growing up. So that's where I see us in the future. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, because I have such a diverse population in my district, there are varying needs as well as strengths. As a public servant, I intend to be open to hear the community's wants and needs. I want to be accessible and a voice to my constituents, especially those working 2 or more jobs that can't fit a meeting, like the neighborhood boards, into their schedules. And for those who are retired and maybe internet challenged and they can't get out to a meeting. I want to get the young people more involved. I think they're an untapped resource, and that way it would give them more of a sense of responsibility and ownership for the community also, their own community. Let's see. So basically before I get into that, I want to tell a little story. Let me see how much time I have. Okay. In going through my community, I did come across a lady who is a perfect example of one of those that can't get out to the neighborhood board, and she just needed someone to be a voice for her. Her situation was her husband had died, she's by herself, Filipino lady, a little bit older lady, internet challenge, doesn't do that. And she's doing everything she can just to keep up her house. And in the back of her house, there's a stream which borders KPT and her house. And there's a lot of homeless there and making noise at all hours of the night. And she's always calling the police to come and that kind of thing. And of course, it's not only her, it's everybody who lives in that area because the street is in back of all of their houses. So that's just an example of someone that cannot get out there and really voice what's going on and has a real need in the community. So I did take her situation. I did write to the neighborhood board president. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure I will. And I also tried to contact Farrington through one of the great young people that are helping me out in my campaign. And he's an alumni, and so we tried to contact some clubs there to see if there's a community service project that maybe one of the clubs are doing that could go back there and clear out the brush so the people won't stay there and be camouflaged and that kind of thing. So anyhow, that's just an example that I wanted to use. So basically, I want people to have more accessibility, inclusiveness, and transparency with their government, and to build trust with the people in my community.
That's great, Cheryl. Thank you. Going door to door, I've met people who are isolated, alone, even seniors who need help. My vision is to see our community, neighbors, people, connected to each other and feeling safe in their own homes. I'd like to use the platform of my office to help meet people's needs and be aware of them so you are not forgotten or overlooked. I want to bring a new hope. In the book of Acts, the community cared for one another. And I think that's a great motto and goal because government cannot always be there. I'd like to invite the faith-based community to reach out and get involved, partner with other nonprofits that can help address the everyday needs of people and create a lifeline for people to go to when they need help. MGMC is a great example of this. This town hall is awesome, as we heard. And even being part of the Neighborhood Security Watch and offering that active shooter presentation on Thursday. We need to help our people rise up from survival mode and come alive in their communities. Whether helping a neighbor trim their hedges or sharing mangoes or bananas. I saw a friend the other day helping walk a neighbor's dog. And I was so touched by that because I knew both of them and I knew their situation, but that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We can share helpful advice with each other and even give an encouraging word when needed. We need each other. We were created for relationship. Finally, be part of the Neighborhood Security Watch and be connected in the fight against crime. Your eyes and ears will tell criminals that I see you. And you will also be able to get to know your neighbors and work together for a good cause. That's my ground level vision for our community. I know it may sound very simple and basic, but I think it's a huge fundamental thing that will change a lot of people's lives. And I hope you will join me. Mahalo.
Thank you all for those answers. This question we want to begin with, should you be elected, day one, what are gonna be the 1 to 2 top priorities that you plan to address and resolve in office? Let's begin with Cheryl on this question. Then we'll go to Micah and then Garner.
Okay, so this question brings me back to the one-party system and checks and balances, which I mentioned earlier. I would actually only be 1 out of 76 other elected public servants working to resolve issues, but I'm willing to work with others and reach favorable outcomes for the community. This is why it's crucial that more like-minded people who are willing to work together get elected in order to get the laws and measures that you want passed and enforced. So as for priorities, cost of living, I guess we can all agree on that one. I will work hard to lower taxes, in particular temporarily removing the gas tax, removing GE tax on medical services and supplies and groceries. I am for audits of all departments by an external company. Property tax is another area that needs to be restructured, I believe. And go green at any cost needs to be looked at and possibly walked back in some ways, which we all experienced with the coal plant shutting down and the electric grid not being ready for that. So thus our electric bills are through the roof. I'm also for small business, believe that small business needs less taxes and less regulations. Another priority of mine is our education system. A bill, I don't know how many of you know this, but a bill almost passed this session that would label concerned parents as terrorists. Parents should have a say on what is being taught to their children, and all curriculum should be easily accessible for public review. I would advocate for a restructuring of the BOE with the possibility of having an elected board instead of an appointed one. No parent should co-parent with the government.
Thank you. Going door to door, I hear 2 issues that come up the most. The first one is water. The Red Hill tanks are in our district now, and I think having safe, clean water is important. So I plan to work with our congressional delegation as well as coordinate with the Navy and the Department of Defense to make sure that they defuel the tanks safely and quickly in a safe manner. So we all deserve and should be able to depend on having safe water and clean drinking water. The second thing I hear a lot about, and my 2 colleagues have already brought up about, is crime. We should be able to feel safe in our neighborhoods. And so I think the neighborhood security watch organizations that have been popping up are really key and crucial to having safe communities. And I hope to really bring down the crime by having strict penalties, especially against crimes against the elderly. Thank you.
I would agree with Micah. The biggest issue that has been highlighted with recent information coming out from the Navy is the Red Hill fuel tanks that is endangering our water supply. Just think if we don't have safe water to drink or bathe with or whatever. I would want to communicate and work together with my legislative colleagues, the administration, the Board of Water, the Commission of Water Resource Management, and our congressional delegation to present a coordinated and united effort in the communication and processing with the Navy and federal government to expedite defueling and safeguards to our water supply. As we wait for Navy action to completely defuel and remove the threat to our water, we need to also concurrently and proactively work on water treatment or filtration systems that can ensure safe drinking water. Citizen groups like the Sierra Club of Hawaii and Oahu Water Protectors have been great in educating and recruiting the public to get involved and be the voice of the people and not be taken advantage of. In other words, public individuals, you have a voice and you have power. And if we join together our voices, we can get our message across. We had a meeting with the director of the Sierra Club of Hawaii on Thursday, and you can write letters to our government officials, letters to the editor, sign petitions, and participate in their events to bring awareness, to highlight this emergency. I realize government is massive and complicated, and I know I can't do this by myself, but I hope to bring a new spirit of let's work together to restore Hawaii. I want to be a conduit, sharing and informing my district what's happening in your government, as well as listening to you, hearing your concerns, and being a voice for you. 3 minutes does not allow me to get into other issues, but you can visit my website. Of course, there are other top issues: cost of living, affordable housing, education, pandemic concerns. Everything is there on my website, and in-depth survey question answers from the Star Advertiser and Civil Beat. So thank you.
Actually, yeah, you can hang on to it. Okay, so the next question that we have came from the Moanalua Valley Community Association. And it is, what are some innovative ways to help police with our growing crime, speeding, keeping our community safer, drug houses, communication with the police, residents, and others? What laws could you introduce? And we'll begin with Carter.
Thanks for the question. I believe crime is related to cost of living hardships and drugs. We need a comprehensive lifestyle approach that works together to help and address broken lives. We need to especially protect our youth. They are vulnerable, they are precious, and they are our future. After school care, creating programs, training and mentoring them, nurturing their spirit, character and moral development, healthy conflict resolution, and relational skills are all needed to help our next generation from going down the wrong path. I would want to meet with HPD, SHOPO, the prosecuting office, social services, nonprofits, and other stakeholders to discuss problems and gaps in the current situation for public safety. We need to audit and clean up our laws, remove redundant, overlapping, and even conflicting laws. I spoke to a HPD officer recently, and he told me there are too many laws. He said it gets confusing and it creates legal loopholes. HPD and government cannot solve all of our problems, and they need help themselves. Again, the Neighborhood Security Watch is a great example of empowering and connecting us together to help ourselves and to help each other. Thank you, Lee Kunimitsu and your team, for being an integral contributor to our Moanalua Valley Neighborhood Security Watch and forming stronger working partnerships with HPD. With the many corruption cases involving our government officials, we need to thoroughly audit our government to better expose the pay-to-play arrangements. I want to put myself out there and make a commitment that I will not be enticed by money or power. I will make decisions that solely benefit you, the people, and put you first without any compromise. That is my commitment to you. Thank you.
Okay, so I believe that frustration with unlawful measures put forth by the current administration that cause rapidly rising inflation and businesses to close, along with supply chain issues, has greatly contributed to the dramatic rise in crime. On top of this, they tried to push through the no cash bail bill. In my opinion, this should never have even been considered. I'm so glad it was vetoed. I believe neighborhood boards and neighborhood watches are great for those who are able to get involved, and we need to do a push for more people to be involved in them. We must also consider that not everyone that is working 2 or more jobs and has a family has time for this. And part of the solution could be to have more communication through PSAs, print ads, social media, etc. I know there was a program, Coffee with a Cop. I think that's good. I'm not sure if that's still going on, but that would be a good thing to maybe continue or expand on. And I do back the blue, so just want you to know that. As far as laws, I would like to introduce a law that guarantees our constitutional rights and limits the power of the governor to declare an emergency and the length of an emergency, much like the bill the governor vetoed. As for other bills, I'm new to this process and would like to hear from the community as to what the community wants.
Thank you. I think the question was about innovative solutions to fight crime. And I don't think this is an innovative solution, but I do support strict and tough penalties for criminal offenders. I think a deterrent system is a good system to have, and we need to make sure that we're giving the proper resources to HPD and to our prosecutors to make sure that they're properly prosecuting crimes, and so that we don't have a high recidivism rate. But I would like to echo the sentiment of my colleagues that we've talked about community neighborhood watch programs. I think those are crucial, and getting the community involved, seeing something, if you say something, if you see something is an important thing to do. And in my experience, I think all of us are going door to door, and a lot of times we knock on the door and people don't have time to talk to us, or they don't want to talk to us, or they don't want to be involved, or they don't think that their voice is being heard. So one of my solutions is to make sure that we have a bigger community engagement, and I think it starts with the Neighborhood Watch program. Thank you.
And then the last question that we're, sorry about that. The last question, that's why I hate microphones with wires. The last question is concerning homelessness, and we'll begin with you, Micah. Homelessness is a growing issue across our state. What's your plan to address homelessness?
Yeah, for homelessness, I have a two-pronged approach to homelessness. I think there's one category of homelessness that we don't see very often, and that's the hidden homeless. That's people, living with their parents, living on the couch of family members, living in the basement of friends' houses. And those people just can't afford homes. They have jobs, they go to work every day, they try to raise a family, but they just can't make ends meet to purchase homes. And so I'd like to see the state working with developers and working with private parties to create more affordable housing options all across the community at all levels, so that these people can get out on their own and can be homeowners for the very first time. I think the second step of my approach is that the state has recently appropriated a good amount of money for Ohana zones. Ohana zones are ways that people who are living on the street can come to a shelter and not only get housing, but can also get mental help, can get other help so that they can get jobs. And if these programs are successful, I'd like to see those programs expanded throughout the state so that we're solving homelessness on 2 different tracks and really doing a really good job to fight that problem. Thank you.
The growing rate of homelessness is also related in part to the high cost of living, the loss of jobs and businesses closed, and the unconstitutional mandates forced on some employees, causing them to have no choice but to resign from their jobs. There is a plan for middle-income families called the Hawaii Homeowners Initiative, which Duke and Junior are unveiling. So if you listen to them, you'll hear more about it. I'm not gonna go into all of that here, but I will say that it involves all local entities, from the financing to construction to the residents. So all money stays in Hawaii, all money is from Hawaii. So it's a really good program. So you get to listen to them. They'll be talking about that. They've already started. As for other segments of the homeless population, there are many organizations in our state that address this issue. So I would work with these organizations to see how we could empower them to do what they do best. For example, there's IHS, Next Steps Shelter, The Shelter that AOG has, Family Promise, and that's just to name a few. If the state can help strengthen these organizations and others with funds and resources, then they could expand their reach. Home share programs and landlord-tenant assistance is also being encouraged. The city has also rolled out a new pilot program operating in Sand Island to Waikiki called CORE, Crisis Outreach Response and Engagement. A good thing about this initiative is that they have a designated response team which frees the police to concentrate where they are needed more, which is to fight crime. I would also like to look into what happened with Miley Land and see if anything can be salvaged out of that. I am in agreement with the program that sends some of those homeless people back to the states where they came from, and so I do support that one. Yeah, and that's it for me.
I think when I think of homeless, I think of the people I see in tents or on cardboards along the sidewalk, and that's the population that I want to address. Of course, affordable housing would definitely help, but I believe homelessness is another casualty of the high cost of living, drugs, and people giving up hope and finding other ways to survive. I feel that our state and city need to get together and work together. I could probably say that more colorfully, but the state and city need to get together and work together to eliminate gaps and finger pointing. We need clear boundaries and procedures to eliminate confusion and inaction. We should establish dedicated sanctuary safe zones for the homeless to set up and be. These safe zones would have restrooms, showers, and trash collection. Medical and social services can be offered there. Special and specific needs can be identified, addressed, and monitored in an organized, benevolent way to respect each person's dignity. We can help them when we know who they are versus unknown whereabouts. These areas would clearly establish accepted and allowed places where these communities will be taken care of, and that no other loitering or squatting outside of these safe zones are allowed. We want to work with everyone and make it a win-win situation for those with special needs and our overall society. We can establish after-hour social teams to partner with HPD to help police not be solely tasked and overburdened. with calls regarding the homeless community. It's not the end game, but it's a start. Finally, I want to thank Pastor Daniel and the MGMC leadership and Ohana for having this town hall. It's a great opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me and Micah and Cheryl. I pray that each one of you were blessed and that you came away with more information to make an informed vote decision. So mahalo and God bless Hawaii.
Right, well, we do want to thank all of you for being here. This was wonderful. And we also do want to thank Senator Donna Mercado Kim. She originally was wanting and looking forward to being here tonight, but she wasn't able to make it. But we are thankful for her as well. And so thank you so much to each one of you.
We know online audience, they've been requesting to answer questions. And so what you can do is our candidates are going to leave contact information and how you can ask those questions, and they will answer your questions directly. And so the question is, and what we're looking at is you're making your closing statement, if you will. How can you be contacted? And if there's anything else that you want to add, please communicate that at this point, and we'll begin with Cheryl as we close this evening.
So I'd just like to say that there are many more concerns and much work to do. So if you agree that a change in our government is desperately needed, then take action and vote. Number one, vote on November 8th and vote for me, Cheryl Zalga. So I'm ready to work hard to restore life, liberty, and aloha to our ohana. Please visit my website, Cheryl, that's with a C, CHERYL, for Senate, FOR, 14.com. And you can learn more about me there. You can submit questions if you have questions for me. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I do need, if there's any of you that are willing to put up signs or banners on your property or business, let me know. I've got a bunch of those. And if I haven't visited your neighborhood, I will be soon. So thank you so much. Thank you to MGMC. Thank you to everybody who came out here in person and those online watching. Thank you so much.
So I can be contacted at micaiu.com, MICAHAIU.com. And I want to thank Pastor Chinen for inviting us and putting on this forum. He is an excellent speaker, and I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of practice every Sunday, but definitely wouldn't want to do this against him. I think he's an expert. But I think I want to close by saying, in my daily work, I spend a lot of time just reading laws, and sometimes I'll have to read a law 3 or 4 or 5 times, and I still won't understand what the law is talking about. And I'm a lawyer, and that's supposed to be expected of me. I'm supposed to understand it after the first time. So one of my main goals is, if I'm to be elected, is to just make the law clear and easy for everyone to understand and approachable, so that people aren't intimidated by the legislature or that building, and so that everyone can approach the law on an even playing field. So thank you very much again, and thank you for tuning in online.
Sorry, studio audience, remote. I know I didn't look at the camera very well. I was looking around, but thank you for joining us. You can find out more information about me at www.voteshimizu.com. I have an email there. You can send in your questions. I'd love to hear from you. I just want to...
Instagram.
And also, thank you, I have an Instagram. So, when elected, you will be blessed to have a bonus of an awesome, supportive spouse. Yes. So again, I want to thank everyone. I want to close with a little story that kind of reflects who I am. as I said, I managed a family business, and I was the managing operating person who had a company car, and I could have gotten a Lexus or whatever, And at that time, I had a growing family, and I chose to get a van because that was the most practical thing. And I remember, talking story with some of my workers afterwards, and he said, "Hey, boss, I really appreciate how you spend money, And that really touched me. I didn't really think about it, but that, I think, is a story that reflects my values, that I'm not about status, I'm about getting the job done. And I'm really excited about the opportunity of going to work for your state government to help each one of your lives improve. So thank you, Jesus, for choosing me and bringing me to this place, and all glory to God. Thank you.
Well, wasn't this a great opportunity to meet the candidates? So we want to thank all of you for coming and being a part. This was great. It was great to be seen and to communicate with the community, outlining your visions, your priorities, what you want to do. And so we thank you for that. And again, one more round of applause for all of you coming. And also for yourselves coming as concerned citizens, as active voters. We want to thank you for your participation and also online.
All right, but that concludes our Moanalua Town Hall meeting. Thank you so much. Be safe, be healthy, and drive home safe. All right, bye-bye.